time the beat drop.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the great state of New York. We're coming to you live from the Inravio.com studios, amazing location, and we're talking about video games, technology, all the stuff on the internet. We're here every week doing it, so it's not surprising. My name is Kyle, that's Frankie, here as always, talking about the latest. We're giving you the updates, everything you need to live vicariously through us to enjoy the world of media. We did not have an episode last week. Because I was in Boston, so it was very last second. I had to find something new. But a lot has happened in the 2 weeks, particularly this week. So we actually kind of worked out, I guess, in the long run, because last week wasn't nearly as eventful as this week. So we got
nothing memorable.
It seems to be packed this week, with more or less. But we usually start by talking about what we've been playing or obsessing ourselves over first. But I feel like we should just get out of the way right off the bat. Hold the door. Just hold the door. Was that not one of the most brutal episodes?
I didn't even see you were wearing that.
My Hodor shirt. I had to. I felt so bad. That was one of my favorite Game of Thrones characters. Spoilers, by the way.
It was one of my favorite twists, to be honest.
Spoilers. It's one of my favorite twists, and I don't know if that can be attributed to that. I still don't fully understand this scenario or what Bran is capable of or the consequences of that. Because what I got out of it was destiny is predetermined. Or that he can at least warg while he's green seeing. So Bran is clearly more powerful than we thought.
I gotta say, I was a fan of the whole episode. I think the door is gonna go. I think it's gonna go down as one of my favorite episodes. And it's funny speaking with other, viewers. Like, some people loved it, some people didn't care for it, and I thought it hit all the beats of why I like Game of Thrones. It felt like kind of the older episodes where I wasn't. It felt like it wasn't dragging on. I think that the plot is moving at a very, very great pace, where it's just like it's engaging. There's the minute details in the characters and their interactions, and like they're actually moving along to the next plot point rather than just dragging it out from episode to episode to episode. And it was so diverse. Everything from the part of the episode that I liked more than you with the whole the play.
I enjoyed the play scene.
I liked it a lot.
I thought it was a great rendition. I thought it went on, but then they kind of cut away and they cut back to the play, and they kept going back to the play, and I'm just like, wow, they are really going to go through this whole freaking history of Westeros.
But it was cool seeing that from the perspective of the common folk,
Sure.
So like, because they're hearing, just like in medieval times, I guess they're hearing everything just from whatever information trickles down into the pop culture, So it was cool.
It seems like an interesting move so late in the game for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, how many reaction shots of Arya do we need to prove the point that she's still upset? Clearly.
No, I think that if there's anything,
had this happened like a couple seasons ago, this would have been one of my favorite reenactments of the show.
If there was any critique that you bring up the reaction shots from a cinematography standpoint, I think they did too many of the reaction shots. They kept on going back to her, so that was absolutely true. So I'm happy you brought that up. But we had various.
First time we've ever seen that guy
The first time we've
shook.
seen him crack.
Oh, shook.
Or at least get close to it.
Yeah.
I'm very much engaged by this next Red Woman. I'm absolutely in love with her. Her eyes, everything about her.
Some background. First off, if you're not watching after Game of Thrones, like when the creators like David Benioff come on,
I didn't see that at all.
You really should be, because if there's any questions they have, they pretty much answer them there. And they describe this new one this new Red Woman describes herself as the first Red Woman. So whether that's a rank she has, or if she literally is, I mean, we've seen how
she was intimidating.
Melisandre's old, so she's the first Red Woman. God only imagines how old
I thought
she
Varys. Am I saying his name right?
Varys, yes.
Varys. I honestly like Varys. I thought he was really having the upper hand, and then she just comes out with this just very much morbid, heart-piercing dialogue.
Yeah.
That you just went right through him, and I was like, oh my
Varys
god, like this, you do not want to mess with this.
He needed this moment, or at least I needed this for the character of Varys, because he was almost too powerful to me. And again, I feel like you saw arguably two of the most powerful characters.
Two Stonewall.
Two of the most powerful characters get shooken a little bit. Varys and then Littlefinger as well with Sansa.
Mm-hmm.
Like he clearly was not fully composed in that whole scene. Like oh my god, it's Sansa. So we had two of arguably the most, if not the most powerful, the most confident characters in Game of Thrones.
Confident, yes,
both
absolutely.
of which shook to their core. So it's very Like, because the Game of Thrones is obviously no one is safe, but I was starting to think the opposite for these two, because I'm like, these guys are just up until this point, they seemed invulnerable to anything.
Exactly.
It's very interesting to see these.
And even seeing how Varys, like behind the scenes, how his little birds, seeing how he actually functions. I loved how he learned
what they literally were. Finally.
Yes,
I had my ideas obviously, but children specifically.
He's becoming less of like this myth, less of this like almost I don't want to say supernatural, but as this mystery man. You know what I mean?
Like because we're learning more about
his humanity is coming out exactly. Because if you think back to many seasons ago, he was keeping what's his face in the. Wasn't he keeping it in a sarcophagus, a coffin, or something, in a table?
Some kind of cage.
I forget what it was. It was a while ago.
The wizard that had demanded him.
Yeah, it was pretty.
That was the last actual reference to his past that we'd seen. So
something like that.
I got no problem going to the past. And I thought it jumped around because the new trend I see for this season at least is that they're like, hey, every episode we're going to show you what everyone's up to, and I so far have not been the biggest advocate of that. I kind of liked how in Game of Thrones last couple seasons, it was you're spending the whole episode in the north, and then in the next episode we're going to go to King's Landing and see what's happening. Two different ways of going about it, pros and cons to each obviously. I kind of liked getting that full story because the first episode back of the season, they were jumping around from a bunch of different people, and it kind of just felt like this here's what everyone's up to kind of episode, which maybe was necessary, but it's not my favorite format of displaying all these characters.
See, I felt that way during the first episode of this season. The first episode of the season made me very concerned for the whole season because the first episode of this season felt very much like the last season. I was not much of a fan of the last season of Game of Thrones. I thought it was kind of dull at a lot of points. Hard Home was a high point of maybe the whole series.
Which was
I know, and it was like watching Lord of the Rings. It was incredible. But as a season, I think it was the weakest, and season 1 of this season I think was kind of like almost the afterbirth of that season. Like they were just wrapping up some things. So every episode that's come out after that has been, I think, a great representation of what's to come. If it keeps this up, if this just ends up being the same formula of every episode, keeping it high tension, high pace, but not going too quick, too slow, I think this might be my favorite season yet because I was so emotionally invested in the last episode, and not even from the ending, but even just because I'm a huge romantic. Even when Jorah said I love you to Danny, I was that hit me so hard. Like I felt that just go right into me. Like it was so genuine. It wasn't a played out monologue. It was just I love you, and it was just so because she's this powerful figure now. She's more powerful than she's ever been, and for her to even be vulnerable for that second, I think it was about.
I loved that. About damn time.
It was my favorite part of the whole episode.
It was great that they kept it brief because it was just I think me and a lot of other Game of Thrones fans have just been like just say it already. Like, why do we gotta have this high school prom melodrama in Game of Thrones where it's just like I love you but I can't tell her because you might not feel that. Like he's Jorah. Like it's just. It seems kind of out of place to me, and I'm really happy that this finally at least got said.
Yeah.
That all these pretenses have been thrown out the window. It's finally.
But what I'm curious
Game of Thrones
is
back on the rails, moving again.
Yes, I feel like
in every facet.
I'm feeling like I'm watching the show.
Jorah and her. That's an example of.
I feel like I'm watching the show that I fell in love with. I'm excited every Sunday for Game of Thrones. Last season, I was like, all right, Thrones is on, but I'm not as excited as I really feel like I should be.
But final thoughts on it. We talked enough about it.
The Door was one of my favorite episodes. I couldn't wait to talk about it. Like I was so excited about it. I think every scene they showed, I don't think there was any weak points in the episode, to be honest, except for maybe minor cinematography.
It was great. I don't know who the heartless bastard thought it was a good idea to kill the dog.
Kill the dog in such a way.
Not in the
same. Didn't even cut away.
In the same 5 minutes.
Stab.
Like the animal especially, because I can't watch animal even fake stuff on movies and like that.
I thought of you actually.
The dog.
I thought of you.
Yes, and then when Horror came up, and it took every ounce of me because I was in public. That was the only reason I didn't cry.
Little story.
I was in public. That was the only reason I didn't shed.
Oh no, I cried during that episode during that one point, but not that point, but a different point, but. I remember when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 4, you got pissed at me for shooting the wolf.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was a really good game, and they had the dog sound effects were on point. So
of course.
I can't.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about what we've been playing. I'll go first.
Oh, I got my new shirt, by the way, too. Got my new shirt. Yeah, Guerrillas Resident Evil crossover.
Finally got my hands on the trilogy of Mass Effect, which has been fantastic.
Yes, we were talking about this.
I'm trying to at least attempt to binge through this before Andromeda is released, which I think I'll have plenty of time.
I love the name. Andromeda. I love it.
So I'm I'm powering through Mass Effect 1 because I've never been a fan of the original, and it's way, way better this time around. I think it's because it's on the PC. I think my biggest gripes with it were like just very minimal, just
I
like
was floored
gameplay mechanics.
that you said this though.
Yes.
I was floored that you said you were actually enjoying Mass Effect 1 because I can't even tell you how many. He's probably said it on the show. You've said it on the show many times.
More than enough, yes.
For years now, I think 2007 Mass Effect 1 came out, and you probably played it, a couple years after. Like you have given that game nothing but crap.
It was
for
broken.
The past few
it
years.
was a broken game.
But but the story was still there.
Sure,
the characters were still there.
The
the game was a little broken.
Why do you think I powered through it? Because the story was so fantastic.
Right.
Because, and I'm playing it again, I'm remembering how amazing the original Mass Effect story was. And I'm loving it. It's just the reason I didn't enjoy it the first iteration was because maybe it was the controller or the Xbox. I don't know.
It just makes me feel good that you're enjoying the full experience now.
I don't find myself like, because before playing it, I enjoyed the dialogue situations, and any combat I got into, I was like, well, God, here we go. And it still is like that in a lot of senses. You're virtually playing this game by yourself. The squad AI in this is just horrendous. Like, immediately, here's the gunfight, boom, boom, both the guys are down. That's it. So you're on your own, which kind of stinks. But beyond that and the elevator load times, which are also brutal, it's great. I love Mass Effect.
But at least they add in those conversations in the elevator. Those are great. Those are great.
I've already gotten the same recycled
The same one over?
Oh, okay. They were fun the first time in the elevator. And also, it's a 2-minute elevator ride, and they speak like 1 minute through, so I guess their idea is like, oh, we'll break up the time with the dialogue. But it's like 1 or 2 banters back and forth. I can't wait to be done with it, because I want to go back to Mass Effect 2, because it's my favorite game of all time. But,
right from the get-go.
It's great. It's great getting back to play it. I'm really enjoying it. And especially this time around, now that it's not broken to a point that I don't enjoy playing the combat. So, loving it. Finally loving it. What about you? What are you up to?
Not a damn thing.
No, great.
Nothing. I'm not playing. I've been way too busy.
Good thing you do a show about this stuff.
I would. Well, I know a thing or two about a thing or two at least. So like Uncharted 4, the hype is all around. Everybody's talking about it and how great it is, and there's some mixed opinions here and there, but I definitely want to give it a shot. I still got to play the third one, so I got to break out the Uncharted collection that I have still wrapped up. I haven't even taken it out yet because I played the first 2 already. Wow. So I want to play through the third one before I play the fourth. But oh my God, the game! I
heard that was the lesser of the bunch.
I heard that too, but I'm still very interested in it because I like the main antagonist of that particular installment. I don't know anything about her. Just I remember when I was watching trailers, I really liked whoever modeled was after her, the voice actor. It's good. Oh, Uncharted 2 is one of the most exhilarating games I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, I mean,
incredible. Incredible. I loved everything about it. The ending was hit a great climax. The boss fight at the end was tough and a little repetitive, but it still served what it was supposed to serve.
I feel like having played Tomb Raider, I don't need to play Uncharted. I'm sure I'd get a million people who disagree with that.
They're cousins.
But it's like the action adventure. The bridge collapses. Quickly press X to save yourself. Like it's in the same realm of things, and I feel like, again, this is a dumbed-down, oversimplified version of it, but I feel like Tomb Raider is more or less the female Uncharted at this point.
I think the thing with Uncharted, the characters are more established. I mean, Lara Croft is a reboot, technically, so she's a clean slate. You don't have that much of an attachment to her, even though they did pretty good considering that she's...
I love her.
Yeah, no, I did like her, but I think Nathan Drake, there's definitely a charm about him. So, and I loved Lena, I loved Sully. I think the characters are great. Is it a little on the cliche side or pretty standard characters? Yes, but it's done well. It's better to do something well rather than even if it's cliche. If you're doing it right.
Talked about they're like, the Uncharted universe is a big universe. There's no reason why.
Well, from what I'm hearing, this is definitely the end. I mean,
sure. Didn't they just introduce a brother to Nathan Drake in the last game? Screw it, give him a side story.
No, they did it in this game. I thought. Yeah, but I mean, they could, but I don't know. So I think it's more the technical aspect too. I mean, this is the most photorealistic looking game as far as animations and graphics go that I've ever seen. It's incredible. It's a step above. If you're eyeing this, you haven't seen enough of it.
No, I've seen it. I'm just trying to think of one of the titles I've seen so far for PS4 that blew me away.
Metal Gear Solid 5 looks incredible as well.
No, these are all fantastic. Look, I'm trying to think of a game that looked like I would argue is the most gorgeous looking game on PS4 right now, and it's not Uncharted. Even though Uncharted, I saw like just gameplay or physics where a guy shot like a cliff of dirt, and then it was just a landslide of dirt because the bullet had interacted with the dirt. Just really, really detailed, specific gameplay, which is it's always amazing.
Oh yeah, they filled every corner up with details.
But let's talk about.
Oh, and then one more thing. I want to play Far Harbor. I'll give like a little mini review of that next week if I could play it. But Far Harbor is the new expansion of Fallout 4. So gotcha. I would love to
I can't wait to dig into the Mass
that.
Effect DLC because I haven't played any of that.
You haven't.
Across any.
Yeah, the Mass Effect 1 DLC, I think there's only like 2 things and they're not that great.
Good. I'm just like, let's wrap it up Mass Effect 1.
BioWare didn't get into the Mass Effect DLC until 2 came out. So
it's fine. You know, I'm not even a big DLC guy as it is. I just care so much about Mass Effect.
Oh my god.
The idea of new Mass Effect content following Shepard is like
so much fun. And especially when you have it all at once, all at your disposal. It's great. Go at your own leisure.
Collector's or Legendary Edition, whatever the hell they call it nowadays. But you shot me a text, and it was one of the weirdest texts I've ever gotten, just because I was like, maybe he mistyped. But Halo 5's Forge mode is officially coming to PC.
Yes.
And there's a little bit of information here. They said later this year, and we got some specifics. And some of this is like when you first mentioned it, I said, wow, with mods added to this. Like it's gonna be a game creator at some point.
Well, this is funny as hell.
It's on PC. Like if someone can just crack the limitations of this, you can build a freaking video game.
Well, it has to be able to be played on Halo 5 on the console because
you say that now.
Well,
because Halo, you can test with your friends on the PC after you've created.
You can, but
so there is Halo PC multiplayer component of this.
Not technically,
but that's enough. That's enough for modders. Have you seen what modders created? I would be shocked in 6 months if they haven't broken the source code of this, and they're doing whatever the hell they want.
I feel the true reason they're doing this is so you could just make it what you need to, make what you need to make on the computer where it's more accessible and just easier to, drag and drop things, and then you can just port it over to the Xbox One.
That's what they want.
That's what they want.
That's not what people are going to do, thankfully.
I know, but I think this is funny timing considering that if you guys don't already know,
PC gamers got to do the work for you now.
I was working, and I finally got Windows 10 too. I got a new laptop finally, so I'll be able to do that if I wanted to. But
if it could run it.
If it could run it. But with Halo 5, I was working on a remaster of the Resident Evil 1 Mansion. And it wasn't working out the way I wanted to as far as the technical limits go. Everything was working great until the lighting became an issue. So I kind of stopped, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just save my time if Halo 6 comes out. When Halo 6 comes out, and I'll just use Forge on that. But I think it's very interesting that they came out with this tool soon after. I said that a couple months after, and I think it's going to make it a lot easier for me. I don't have to sit in front of a freaking TV.
I think that's the idea, but that's why this is exciting. But I'm more excited about what kids are going to do with it when they break it, because this is going to have when they mod it, so there's no budget limit, so there's no on-screen limit, so it's going to be amazing what they can do with these things, and then custom textures and imported game sounds. And
we'll see.
It's going to be amazing. Look at any game that can be modded. My Left 4 Dead 2 looks nothing like the game Left 4 Dead 2 at this point. And with this being a creator in itself, the opportunities are endless with it. A couple of just the key components of it: keyboard and mouse support, obviously. PC will support higher resolution up to 4K. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
Seamless creation / playability between Xbone and PC, meaning you can obviously create this map, test it with other PC players, and then import it into the Xbox for people to play on Xbox. That being said, there's a bunch of obviously new advanced file sharing technology they're going to be using in it, and new environments, new palettes, props, and more will be included with this update as well. So really, really, really cool. I'm definitely going to pick this up because it'll be cheaper. I'm really happy that they're releasing Forge by itself and not the entirety of Halo 5, because I would absolutely not pay anything for Halo 5, but I would love just Forge. So this is great. This is my ideal scenario for me, because I will absolutely pick up Forge. No desire whatsoever.
I think Halo 5 would be a great PC game.
No desire.
Because Halo 2 was a hit on Vista when it came out. So it really was.
It still is, man. People are still playing it.
Yeah, but Halo 5, and I'll say it again, it's the best gameplay that the Halo series has to offer at this point. It really does. It's just
multiplayer.
Yes, but when it comes down to it, that's the most important part is the gameplay. So
Gameplay. Not the multiplayer.
Gameplay, the mechanics, the weight of the weight of your Spartan, the gunplay.
That is hugely debatable.
Yes, but you can't have a campaign without gameplay.
No, I mean,
you know what I mean?
You can't have multiplayer without gameplay.
But you could have gameplay without campaign. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's a foundational thing.
Yes. I'm just severely disappointed because they're just like, screw it, we're just going to multiplayer. And I'm like, especially as a PC gamer, I have plenty of competitive online shooters to play. I don't need another one. For a console, that's great. But with PC, you have tons of free options.
But there's nothing like Halo. There's nothing like it.
There's nothing Halo is doing PC-wise that is enough for me to get me over there. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. I would be shocked to find a large community of PC gamers clamoring for Halo 5 multiplayer.
Because it doesn't appeal to them.
Exactly, it's not necessary.
But the people it does appeal to, they know Halo is a very unique shooter. There's no game that feels like Halo. You know, even there's players that are way beyond me that have played all of them, like so many different shooters, and I've had in-depth conversations with them before. It was one of my friends online, and he was like, I played so many shooters, but I always come back to Halo because I feel like there's more of a skill gap. You know what I mean?
Again, that's for console gaming. Like when you get to the mouse and keyboard world, it's a whole different.
Yeah, but Halo's been on mouse and keyboard. It's not like it's never been there.
Originate on
but
it.
And Halo,
it's not tailored for it. That's why you don't see PC cross-platform play with Xbox, because controller versus mouse and keyboard, there's no contest.
I guarantee if you put Halo 5 on PC with mouse and keyboard, the skill gap would be just as big, if not bigger. There would totally still be that competitive play.
I'm saying they would release that. I think it would sell poorly on PC. That's just my predicament.
But not even selling poorly. I'm talking about just the game itself, the mechanics of the game, just the way it plays. I think it'd still be it might not be highly successful financially, but it would still be a very highly competitive game on Halo on PC.
I mean, there's no way an esports scene would develop around it.
But throw that out the window. Let's say hypothetically it was. If Halo, the biggest reason why Halo is lacking in that aspect is for a couple of reasons. First off, it's not on PC like we were just saying, so it's a completely different community.
Come on, Halo survived as an esport well before it was on PC. Like, if anything, it's dipped dramatically.
No, it has. Yeah. It has. Yeah. It tried to make it a reemergence, but it just Halo 4 was really and Reach was really the ones that's when things started to go downhill in the pro community.
Halo 4 especially, because that campaign
it started with Halo Reach.
Nothing was good about that. Halo Reach at least had a solid campaign.
Halo Reach was a fun game, but competitively it was not it wasn't viable because of there was too much random aspects to the gameplay with the bloom and everything like that, you know. But that's what I mean. I never played Reach once for the multiplayer. I mean, obviously Halo multiplayer is great, but that's why I was so upset about Halo 5. Is like when it comes down to it, it's campaign. Reach was probably my second most played.
I want a great story with Master Chief and this beautiful universe they've created that has like an extended universe that's gorgeous that they haven't even tapped into yet. And yet here they are doing this like melodramatic squabbling, and okay, multiplayer is great. I'm just so sick of this multiplayer, because whether you want to admit it or not, we live in a multiplayer world right now. That's where everyone's chickens are in their baskets. We are in the dark ages of campaign, and it's sad for me.
I disagree.
I absolutely think that.
I disagree.
Even the great single player games, they're all sandbox, which is great, but a lot of those rely heavily on you developing your own adventure and you developing your own kind of story for yourself, much like Minecraft.
Yes, but it's still single player. We have Metal Gear Solid 5. We have Uncharted 4 that just came out, which is
single player and campaign, two totally different things.
I know, but to say we're in a dark ages of campaign, I disagree.
I can't argue that at all. Name just
Fallout 4.
The number.
I had such a blast with Fallout 4.
That story was great for you?
It was incredible.
That's the worst thing I'm hearing about the story about Fallout 4 is A, that they took the RP out of their RPG, and B, that the story was terrible.
No.
And I read the story on the Wikipedia, and nothing about it jumped out at me.
Fallout 4 had a great narrative if you knew where to look. The main story.
If you knew where to look.
Absolutely.
That's my point.
But if you're playing a Bethesda game for the main storyline, you're going to be disappointed. Look at Skyrim. Skyrim did not have a good main.
Morrowind was fantastic.
I never played Morrowind, but all I know is that when I played through Fallout 3...
Hell, I liked Oblivion's story.
When I played through Fallout 3, when I played through Fallout 4, when I played through Skyrim, I wasn't playing for the main story. I was playing for
Fallout 3 had a great story.
I was playing... No, it didn't.
It did.
It didn't have a great story.
Way better than Fallout 4.
No, it didn't. Dude, are you kidding me? Do you know Fallout 3 ended?
Yeah, well, it depends on how it ends.
No, it ended on a worthless, pitiful boss battle.
I read the story of Fallout 4,
and then the credits roll. They just roll, and you're like, what the hell was that? Fallout 4 at least didn't do that. Did they add DLC to Fallout 3 that made it, a true ending? Yes, but it was post-game launch. So Fallout 3 was no better than Fallout 4 as terms of story goes. That is not true.
That's debatable.
But I will say this, Fallout 3 did start better as a story. It did start better. I felt Fallout 4 was a bit rushed in the beginning. I think they could have spent more time developing your character in the beginning.
Your settlement's under attack.
That has nothing to do with the story, though. That has nothing to do with the story. That has to do with the gameplay elements that they added. that has nothing to do with it. Nothing. But Fallout 4 still has a lot of great narrative in the parts of the RPG that aren't necessarily the main story. And I'll tell you what, the main story had a lot of steam. It just kind of dulled out, I'd say maybe towards the end. But there was still a lot of great side quests. There was a lot of great side stories. The characters were awesome. I loved Piper. I loved Nick Valentine, which is one of the coolest characters, the most iconic characters I've played with in years. You know, he was just so cool to have around, and he had that whole like old school cop identity. You know, it was really cool. So, you know, you didn't play Fallout 4, so I don't know where you're hearing this, but Fallout 4, it should get a lot more credit than it's deserving. Did it do some things that were a little rocky and a little rough around the edges and a little questionable, like the chat system? Absolutely. But it did not, by any means, I think, take the RPG out of the, you know.
I played it for a couple hours. I watched a ton of it on Twitch, and it just seemed highly underwhelming to me.
It was a fun game, and to be honest, I think with survival, I think with survival mode, it's even that much better of a game. But I haven't played survival yet, and I want to play it so bad. I've just been watching footage of it, so maybe that's what I'll play next. But I know if I start doing that, I'm not.
My point is that there's been far more focus towards multiplayer gaming in the last. I think that's due in part to different trends in technology and the rise of technology, and it has a bunch of different factors. And obviously, it's impossible to say for sure. But anytime I find myself craving a game experience with a fantastic campaign, I'm going back to play
BioShock Infinite. That was another great example.
BioShock. That was a while ago, dude.
That wasn't that far. That wasn't that far ago. What was that? 2 years ago?
It's
2 years.
It's disappointing campaign-wise. I really have been to an extent where it's just like I can't remember too many campaigns that I played. And I've beaten quite a few games recently, and it's just super underwhelming, and it just seems like, oh, well, the multiplayer is great. And it's like, well, that's great. Multiplayer is great. Super fantastic. But just, you know, what happened to the days when you just want to have an amazing story start to finish? And I feel like you have to go out of your way to look for that now. And that's just my point. That's my perspective of it, opinions-wise. I disagree with you about Fallout. Again, that's just opinions.
Yeah, but I played through it. You didn't. That's the whole thing. That's the difference.
My point is you haven't played every game with a campaign, so you can't say.
Well, we
sure,
can both
obviously.
agree nothing is matched up.
It's semantics. I said this 10 seconds ago. My point is
that we can both agree that nothing is matched up to Mass Effect in modern gaming right now. I think Mass Effect is by far the best single player experience that I've had so far in terms of the past few years.
It's up there. What
else would it be?
I don't want to rule anything out. I've played a lot of games, but it's up there. I mean, again, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3 was, ending-wise, was super disappointing.
Mass Effect 3 was great.
Mass Effect 3 was okay.
It was fantastic.
It was okay.
It was incredible.
They anteed up everything in Mass Effect 2 really well done, but beyond that, there wasn't. It was good. It was very good. I wasn't blown away with it nearly as much as Mass Effect 2. But maybe that was just the jump from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2. Maybe that quality for me was a big enough gap.
Oh no, the jump to Mass Effect 1 to 2 is mind-blowing.
Maybe that was what it was, but Mass Effect 3, I finished it and I was like, oh, I'm really glad I played this game. But at no point was I like, Mass Effect 2, you better watch it, because it wasn't by any means underwhelming to me. It was just, it was good. It was a very good game.
Yeah,
Great trilogy overall. I obviously like Mass Effect 2 the best, Mass Effect 3 the second, Mass Effect 1 the least, but I don't know, it was good, but it did not nearly hit that feeling of like, from epilogue to prologue, or I'm sorry, vice versa, of Mass Effect 2, I was completely enthralled. There was that one point where I was like, oh, this is a headache, or this isn't fun, or I'll just get through this part and the fun part will begin. I was always having an amazing time, and no other game has been that consistent with me. Besides Halo 2, maybe.
The only other game I could think of, campaign-wise?
Yes.
Really?
Just something about going back to Earth.
Consistent?
Yeah, I had fun the whole game.
Hey, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Halo 2 had some pretty bad levels in it.
I really enjoyed it.
I love Halo 2's campaign, but there are a couple levels where I'm just like, I need to skip this.
No, there was certain, I mean, like the library parts in Halo 1 was more frustrating to me than anything in the
I'd rather play that than Halo 2's library
that was the
parts.
same thing over and over again to me. That's just the same. Gray wall room, more flood, gray wall.
I didn't mind it.
That's the definition of repetitive.
I didn't mind it.
Well, let's take a quick break, though, because we have not taken one yet. But when we come back, we got some more information about No Man's Sky, a new Xbox One. Information about that. They're going the same route as PlayStation. And some Pokemon Go information. Some really cool Pokemon Go information. We're going to be back in a couple minutes. Stay with us. You're watching Save and Continue. We'll see you all very, very soon. Shikita-bam.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
This is Joe Larson. You should check out the 505 on Racing Show live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us on video on demand anytime, 24/7, only on the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit hansoncarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
I can't hear anything in this headset, but it makes me feel special doing that. Hey, you're watching Save and Continue at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're talking about video games and all this fun stuff. We just had a great conversation about Halo. Forge mode's coming to the PC very soon. That's gonna be exciting. No Man's Sky. All right. So obviously you're off the bandwagon. We talked about this enough. It's updates. I gotta give updates.
No, do it. I want to hear it.
No Man's Sky has been delayed. And the rumors have it from two different sources that it'll be delayed to at least July and/or August. I mean, you're already done with it, but I basically this is probably the nail in the coffin for this game.
Watch, I end up loving it.
I don't want to rule out No Man's Sky because I got the same exact feeling I had from Doom. And then Doom came out, and it blew me away.
We got to talk about that.
I got to play a couple hours of it at our friend Ryan's place on its like 4K TV with like 360.
It's got a 4K?
Positional sound. And Doom, they just did it so perfectly. It's a perfect. It's like a reboot sequel reimagining where they apply all those game mechanics that you know and love for Doom and just re-altered them for a modern day game. So it's the same mechanics, but these mechanics
It's classic Doom, but it's got a facelift.
But it wouldn't have worked. Just applying the same mechanics from the original Doom into this modern day one wouldn't have worked. It would have been broken. And they've altered it in a way that's like they've added jumping and climbing and things like that. Something that was never in Doom. But it's just the right amount of additions to this game. I've only gotten a couple hours to play with it, but maybe that was the game. It's gorgeous. It might honestly rival. It's two totally different styles. Obviously, as Uncharted. Uncharted's got a much more realistic thing going on to it. But as far as like textures and colors and lighting goes, stunning. A lot of it just looks like a painting. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, No Man's Sky has been delayed. My question is that the final nail in the coffin for it? They've been releasing such little information about it. And again, I wanted to be hesitant because Doom kind of followed the same sort of format. They released a highly unpopular public multiplayer beta. People just like tore it apart. And then they announced that they would not be releasing press review copies till the day of release. And that usually is a terrible sign because it says we don't want bad reviews coming out before sales. That's a common tactic if you know your product isn't going to be amazing. Let people buy it before they hear how bad it is. So that was not adding anything confident to it, but it turned out great. Apparently they had a statement from the Doom creators, ID Software, saying that they did this because Doom is a project that is meant to be experienced in its entirety. The reason the beta didn't do so well is because they weren't able to include it with the other elements of it. I don't fully understand what they meant by that, but sure enough, the game released. It's fantastic. People
I heard it's a fun single-player experience.
Incredibly fun. It's incredibly fun, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. There are no spoilers for this, but basically you start off with the world as the apocalypse, and your character is treated as a messiah. Your character's name is literally Doom Guy. Like that's the amount of effort they put into it, and you basically pick up this shotgun and you're like, time to cleanse the earth. That's it. That's basically the whole campaign story.
It takes place on Earth?
Something like that. It's you transport to Mars like you did in the other game. I don't fully understand. All I got to do is really experience some wave after wave combat, which is where the game really hits its strides. It's just you enter a room, it's incredibly difficult, there's wave after waves of enemy coming, you know how many waves, you're going to go through the same level several times, and you're just going to try and find a new way to get through it and beat it. And that being said, that kind of gives me a little bit of hope for No Man's Skies, which proves that you don't need to give out information for the game to be great. Who knows? Maybe No Man's Skies comes out and they have all these features they never even talked about. Highly doubt it.
That's not what bothers me about No Man's Sky.
I don't know nothing about it. That's what bothers me.
Yeah, we don't know a lot about it, so that's not really what concerns me as much. It's just that I'm tired of hearing about it.
I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm
just tired about hearing the name. You know what I mean? Like it's just got a sour taste in my mouth.
I wouldn't even mind the name if every time I heard the name, it was because a new piece of information was being released. Every time I see it, it's like, check out this screenshot, and it's just like, that's great. The colors are fantastic, and it's like, every planet's going to be different. And I'm like, okay, well, you're promising trillions of planets. Like, how different are they going to be? Is it going to be the grass is blue on this one, but everything else is the same as this other planet? Like, how much variation can they possibly have? They're promising quite a bit with this game, which is why I'm so skeptical. Because I'm like, that's a lot to promise. And now it's being delayed. They're not releasing any of these things they're claiming.
What was the original release date?
I believe it was June. Thank you. It was June. Yeah, you're right, it was June. So now it's being delayed to July, August. Nothing. Look, how much could they possibly change in a 1 month span?
I don't know. It sounds a little fishy.
It's a very interesting. This whole scenario is confusing to me, which is why I don't want to straight up say this is going to be a massive failure or a success, because I just don't know.
It's a little worrying to me, because it's like, oh, they're trying to milk as much time because they know that they know they're on thin ice right now. I think
it's just so. What could a month possibly do? That was obviously some kind of strategic move.
I mean, it's
marketing-wise.
happened before. I remember games getting released 2 weeks ahead of time, like 2-week delay. There's games that have been actually released 2 weeks before they were planned.
It's interesting because one of the sources about this being delayed was from one of the GameStop executives, because they've received a bunch of copies already of No Man's Sky, but it's
gone gold.
They've also, what do you mean?
It's gone gold. So the game is finished?
If I'm not mistaken, yes. What they got basically was, then they received a bunch of promotional posters and pop-up stands for No Man's Skies for the GameStop shops, and they're being instructed by the developers to place this coming soon thing over their release date. So
this might be more of a business decision.
This might be more of a marketing thing, is what I'm
right.
trying to say. I mean, what can you really change gameplay-wise in the course of less than a month? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. To produce those discs and ship alone is going to take months.
There's bug fixes. There's things you could do up until the time it goes gold.
Firmware, but those are things that are patched afterwards. Like this game is discs. They're discs already. They're compacted. There's just no way, if they're going to hit a July, August release,
I didn't even know they were produced
that they're already in discs. Like, if this is a purely digital release, maybe, because that could be patched remotely. But these are all they're discs. Unless this game is coming out a year from now, they're already made physical copies. So it's just very interesting. I mean, I'm still super curious about it. I can't say whether or not I'm gonna. Maybe it's gonna be amazing. Maybe it'll blow everyone's expectations out of the way, and this guy's just a lunatic, and he just really cares about releasing that little information about it, and he just gets off to it. I mean, we're seeing this a lot with indie games, more or less. I mean, but those, again, have much less riding on them. Stardew Valley is one of the most popular PC games out right now, $20, and that guy just released it that day and was like, here's my game. Like, and everyone fell in love with it. But this is something totally different.
Speaking of indie games, Yooka-Laylee finally got a date.
Yes! Spiritual successor to
Banjo-Kazooie. It's the original team from Rareware that made Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, and I could not be happier. And I saw the screenshots, and if the game is anything like the original Banjo-Kazooie, which it takes a lot from, it's almost like it's a parody of it, and they totally take shots at Microsoft, which is great. I am going to have so much fun. I mean, there's few games that are even like Banjo-Kazooie, and this is the team. This is the all-star team.
It's an interesting trend. It's very subtle, and I hope this is definitely a trend. But I'm seeing more and more platformers.
That's the thing. I can't remember the last time I was excited for a platformer.
Have you heard about Ratchet and Clank?
Yes, I know. It was phenomenal. Done well. I heard it was.
It's
done
phenomenal,
very well.
And I got no problem with platformers, especially since a campaign can be tied.
But this is the game that got me into platformers.
Yes, like
I didn't have Mario 64. I didn't even own it. I had Banjo-Kazooie.
If they came out with a new Jak and Daxter, I would probably pick up a PS4.
I haven't played Jak and Daxter either.
It was one of those that grew up with the games. So it's like I would probably pick up a PS4.
It probably will. I can see that happening.
And
but again, it's Naughty Dog.
Sure, I mean, they're done with Uncharted. Why the hell not? Give me a new Banjo-Kazooie, or not Banjo-Kazooie, I'm sorry, Crash Bandicoot. I'll take that.
Yeah, I figured that's what you meant.
So yeah, that's. I'm hoping it's good. More platformers. I'll take them. I'll take it all day, man. I love platformers. The big news coming out of this week was sources have been saying that a smaller Xbox One, 2 new models of the Xbox One are coming out over the course of the next 2 years.
Yep, in 2017.
Within this year, 2016, there's claims to be a smaller, more compact Xbox One coming out. Apparently, it's going to be smaller, but an increase in storage. Apparently, there's a rumor of a 2 terabyte hard drive.
Okay, which is all right because you could change that anyway.
Makes sense. And then in 2017, arguably more importantly, there's rumors of a more powerful Xbox One coming out. Supposedly
4K and that kind of thing.
I'm imagining 4K. It's codenamed Scorpio. They're claiming it's going to have a more powerful GPU, 4K most likely, a bigger hard drive, and the big thing is they're working on a partnership, so apparently it will be Oculus ready upon release.
I was going to say.
This is a big deal for Oculus because in the next coming months, this is going to be a big thing for Oculus, whether they're going to live or fail right now, because their pre-order situation is abysmal. Anyone that's ordered Oculus Rifts that pre-ordered it years ago have not been receiving them. Then all of a sudden, they're starting to stock them in Best Buys. So apparently, people that can go to Best Buy and get them before these kids that pre-ordered it. There's limited quantities. There's errors with production. So they basically.
What kind of errors?
Not enough hardware. Apparently, there's they found a cheaper alternative to a part within the Oculus Rift headset, so now they're trying to re-release these headsets with this new part in them that makes it cheaper for manufacturing, so they're saving money, but this has resulted in a giant,
Interesting.
delay. And the Vive is killing it. The Vive is absolutely killing it right now, sales-wise. And people are getting way more attached to mobile VR, like Samsung Gear VR, than anyone thought they would.
Is that the cardboard thing?
No, that's the plastic one that Samsung actually released, a really nice one. Google just announced their own Android-based VR headset, very much similar to Samsung's Galaxy Gear that's going to be releasing very soon. They're going to have their own Daydream program, which is this whole interface that comes with it, that incorporates Netflix and games and all these things. And so it's like Oculus is quickly becoming totally obsolete. And we've seen this before. Just because this company is a pioneer doesn't mean they're going to be the most successful at it. Ahead of its time maybe, but it's very interesting because I got to try the Vive and the Oculus, and though I haven't got to use Oculus's touch controls yet since they're being released later, it's got nothing on the Vive. The Vive is just a whole nother world of virtual reality. And I'm really excited about mobile VR.
It's V-I-V-E?
V-I-V-E, yes. It's just amazing. And I really like mobile VR because I like the possibility of being cordless and having the integration with GPS tracking and everything. I think mobile VR is going to be even more popular than mainstream VR over the course of the years. But this is going to be huge for Oculus. This could be a make or break thing for them because a partnership with Xbox will basically be securing these headsets for this console, much like PlayStation VR is being secured for PlayStation, though they are supposedly releasing it for PC as well, which would be huge. So it's going to be very interesting to see this. But I still don't think I would pick up an Xbox One, even with a price. And you can get one for $300 right now for a terabyte hard drive, comes with Halo 5 and one other game.
Oh, yeah.
And I still have no desire for the Xbox. It's crazy.
You know, man.
It's so crazy for me to think like this.
Yeah, I only got
I'm such a fan of the 360.
I only got it for Halo. That's all I did. That's all I did. I got a PS4. It's even that it's collecting dust right now until Final Fantasy 15 comes out. I should pick up Uncharted 4 eventually. So we'll see what happens. But Final Fantasy 15, you will see me playing that day one.
Even the demo they had, which was just testing particle effects in the game, was amazing. You could step on switches and it would give different weather.
Well, Square Enix, they were just talking about how they're really putting their all into Final Fantasy 15. How over the past 10 years they've been through a lot of different transitions in production and style and developers, and it's just it seems like
I really wish I was more.
I'm really hoping this ends up being the Final Fantasy experience we've wanted for a long time.
Is that being released for PC?
It's multi-platform. I don't know if it's gonna be for PC.
If it's multi-platform, it usually is PC. Most days nowadays, if it's multi-platform, it's usually so they can incorporate PC. A lot of times for exclusivity at this point is to avoid the PC because it's so expensive to develop
I'm just
for the PC.
praying that this game is not going to be style over substance. I want it to really have both because it totally has the style as far as I could tell. But I really want it to be dense.
It's actually fun, having this gigantic gaming entity that I know that has affected the whole industry, and I know literally nothing about it. And it kind of.
And you don't have to.
I know, and I kind of enjoy that. And kind of enjoy you love video games. You must have played Final Fantasy, I go never touched it.
Didn't you text me not too long ago? You're asking me which Final Oh, maybe you were asking.
I was thinking about getting into it.
What Final Fantasy?
Yeah, and I was like, what would be a good introduction into Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
the only one I've ever played was Tactics for the Game Boy Advance,
which was good.
I loved it.
Tactics,
I loved it. That's the only reason I'm even
game.
remotely interested.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But I kind of like being able to say, never touched Final Fantasy. Not because it's bad, just because it's like you almost have to go out of your way to avoid Final Fantasy at this point in like gaming.
Yeah, but oh man, which would it start with? That's a good question.
It's a tricky. I think the last time you said you're like, oh yeah, you got to give me a little bit because I got to think about it.
I feel like 9 is my favorite.
I hear 9 and 7 a lot.
7.
Not that I should play 7. That 7 is the favorite among a lot of
7
people.
for obvious reason. I think 7's a little dated.
I don't know these obvious reasons. Everyone says the same thing. They go, "Oh, 7 because of And I go,
it's
I
7,
don't because it's 7.
It's 7, and
I have no reference point for that.
It's cool. It's got like I like the themes of 7 with the life stream.
Is that the snowboarding one?
It has a snowboarding game, yes, it does.
Yeah.
But
that alone,
it's if you could handle the datedness of it,
sure. I can handle the date. Like I just said, I'm going back to all these old games right now just because I
if you want to play a good Final Fantasy game that's not even a Final Fantasy game, I'd say play Lost Odyssey because Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
Yeah,
before,
that might be my favorite RPG of all time. I love Lost Odyssey so much. It's made by the original creator of Final Fantasy and the composer. It is just a great single player experience. It has some tearjerker moments.
I've heard great things.
I think it's got a good voice cast, so it's good stuff. But nine's a good mix between modern Final Fantasy and old school Final Fantasy. It was almost like a love letter to the old school Final Fantasy games.
I've always been
and 10's cool too. It's a little cheesy, but 10's a good game. I recommend 10.
Let me cut you off. Let's take a quick break one more time. Just get rid of some more sponsor breaks. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up the show. We got a few more things to talk about, including a game I keep forgetting about, and I don't know how, so we're bringing that up. And new Pokemon Go information, and some Assassin's Creed movie information as well, which I'm excited to talk about. Not excited, very curious to talk about.
I heard the Warcraft movie sucked.
I know, and that's super disappointing because the director of that directed Moon, which is one of my favorite movies with Sam Rockwell.
Which I have to
Anyway,
see.
we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we got some Pokemon Go information, a few more things about video games that we've forgotten about, and we'll wrap up the show. So stick with us. We'll be back in like a minute.
A jiffy.
Soon.
What's up, guys? We're Scared No Fair, and we're here with Inravio. If they catch you at a show with one of these bracelets, you will win $100.
That's a lot of money.
So get a bracelet.
Do whatever it takes to get that. Hit them up online.
This is Joe Larson. You should check out the 505 on Racing Show live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us on video on demand anytime, 24/7, only on the Inravio TV network.
I think it was review guys reviewing.
I can't find it. I'll have to send it to you on
Why
Facebook.
can't you find it?
It's too. I don't know. I can't find it. It's a very interesting Google.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on right now.
Oh.
Hey, we're wrapping up the show right now. I'll find you that GIF. It's just that perfect,
Look,
like
Howard's
every
gonna show me something.
looped beautifully. We're watching Save and Continue. It's 7:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are wrapping up the show. Just a few things to get through. New trailer for this game. I keep forgetting about it, and then every time I hear it, I'm like, I don't know how I keep forgetting about this game. I'm so excited for it. Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh my god.
I know.
Oh my god.
I know.
I was just thinking that today.
I know. I know.
totally forgot it
I know.
existed, and I'm so excited for it.
I know. I don't know why I keep forgetting about it, but it's there.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Came out with a brand new trailer, which looks fantastic. It's most likely getting a bunch of information. They seem to be leading us along to be getting a bunch of information at E3 in June this year.
If you have not seen the trailer,
Oof.
it's one of the coolest, most well-done trailers I've seen for a video game in a long time.
That also concerns me, though, because Ubisoft is notorious for that. They are some great producers of trailers, a lot of times which aren't the best indicators of the game. So it's very possible that this trailer could be way better than the actual
But
game.
I'll tell you what, what my beliefs are at this point, I feel confident that this will be a good game because
I certainly hope so.
The Ghost Recon series, I don't think has ever really been abused.
You never played Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfighter Warfare? Advanced Warfare.
Warfare.
No, it was Advanced.
Isn't Warfighter Medal of Honor?
It was Advanced. No. It was Ghost Recon. There was two of them. Advanced.
The bad one. I'm talking about.
No,
the bad
they were
one.
good.
There was one bad.
These two games were. Are you talking about the cover-based one?
Maybe. Not Phantoms.
No,
That's the purely online PC
The
one.
two that were for 360, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I remember not liking one of the advanced ones.
I liked them a lot. I thought they were great. So,
I think it's whatever iteration. Like I loved the original.
Well, let me put it this way: if you think there were any bad Ghost Recon games, I don't know of the ones you're talking about that exist because I have played the ones that I played. I've never been disappointed before. So. I personally think Ghost Recon is the least abused Ubisoft's series. Rainbow Six has had its ups and downs.
Yeah,
the Division
I can agree with that.
The Division, I think,
was
was definitely a failure.
Maybe it wasn't the most bad. It was definitely my least favorite when they got into the Advanced Warfighter.
See, that's when I started to really like it.
I think it's however you interpret
right.
Ghost Recon. I played the original one where it was like modern day combat, The Advanced was tactical, but this was like painfully annoying. Tactical.
Yeah, it was the first person. You couldn't see your
gun.
There was
no guns.
Yeah.
It was
cool.
really picky.
It was cool.
That's what I remember of
and
Ghost Recon.
Splinter Cell 2 has also had its ups and downs. But
we're talking about Splinter.
But Rainbow Six.
God, that game.
But Rainbow Six Siege, I think has.
I loved it.
I think it was done very well.
Did you play a little bit?
I own it.
Oh, you did play it?
Yeah, I think Siege, I haven't played it in a while, but I think Rainbow Six Siege was very fun. I think it was very strategic. I thought it was addicting. Considering how much content was in it, it still kept you playing for a while.
I definitely like the route they went in instead of the Patriots, like choose your decision kind of thing. I'm way more happier with how this
we don't need
came out.
that.
And that's a testament because this game has no campaign.
Yeah.
And, like I still enjoy this more
Yeah,
because
and there's little tidbits of character there. You know,
sure.
you have the different kind of classes that are different characters. They got a backstory. And all that kind of stuff.
I'm just a big fan of high tactical close quarters.
Yes,
combat.
me too.
Like the fundamentals of the game is picking a corner to lay down in. Like I really like that mechanic.
I think it's awesome. So I think they did very well with that. So if any of those people who made Siege are affiliated with Wildlands, I think it's going to be a winner. The trailer set the tone. Like I said, I have never been disappointed by Ghost Recon yet. I am really excited for this, and since we're going in the route of open worlds, shooters and exploration and adventure, I think that this is going to thrive in that atmosphere, especially since we know it's going to be some kind of co-op.
It'll be nice to see how it tackles those mechanics as far as like how deep will it go because obviously in the trailers they allude to you being able to choose different ways of going about it.
Like day and night cycles.
There's a silent mode.
Like
it's going to be interesting to see how many of will the time of day in which you arrive at the objective location affect
like Metal Gear Solid 5.
Could you only do the stealth missions at night? These are all things that I'm really curious about.
Which has been done.
It can be this game could very easily be a muddled mess. And it could very easily be a game changer. It's incorporating a lot of gameplay mechanics and things that I'm really excited about, but also have to be handled incredibly delicately.
Again,
a lot of game-breaking items in this, and it's if done correctly, which I'm confident will be done correctly, it's going to be mind-blowing.
I mean, what you're saying, I think, really could apply to any game, to be honest, because there's nothing about this next installment of Ghost Recon that waves a red flag in my face about.
No, I think the choose your approach mechanic is brand new to this series, which is great.
But I think it suits.
It's great.
Yeah.
I hope it's handled correctly. That's all.
Because if you think about it, the original Ghost Recons were kind of like that. You kind of choose which way you want to approach the scenario, and actually, Warfighter, if I'm remembering the name.
I don't
properly.
think it's. I'm pretty sure that's the Medal of Honor one.
Yeah, I am thinking of that too. That's that's a stupid name.
The beard simulator.
Yeah. The beard simulator. James. It's.
He wishes.
I can see him on the cover.
That beard
with the bandana.
James's
The guy with
beard.
the bandana.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
That James would.
It was. Yeah, it was. I think it wasn't misleading. I feel like I'm waiting to just see how well they do. Maybe it'll go in the route of Doom. It's gameplay we've seen before, done very well.
I'm hoping the approaches are different enough to warrant them.
Here's the thing.
You get what I'm saying? I don't want it to be just different approaches, but it's more or less the same kind of thing. I want drastic, and they're alluding to that. So
if they could expand on a technical level the Ghost Recon formula that we already know of with co-op with other players, and I'm talking about like multiple players in a squad in an open world, I think that's sold. That's good enough for me, because I would love to play a game like that with other people. Be super tactical, very much like the route that Siege went, except, a more PvE sort of action kind of game. Because that game to me, like, if there is going to be multiplayer, which there was in the previous ones, I think that's going to take a back seat for me. But who knows?
I mean, honestly, again, I'm being really decisive with this, but I mean, I'm actually really excited about the multiplayer PvP components of this. Like, especially since
did they announce it's going to have that?
I don't know actually.
We could assume. We could assume.
I'd be very shocked if they didn't. But I would honestly, don't even go that far out of your way. Like, don't trouble yourselves. Like, basically make PvP the same thing as PvE. Like, you have this terrorist group,
right,
and you have the anti-terrorist group,
yeah,
and they can choose their approach, kind of like in the realm of Siege.
In a big world.
Exactly. So it's just like you have your team, you're stepping up, and it's like we don't know how the anti-terrorists, if they're going to go stealth, if they're going to go right to the front door, and it kind of plays into the same mechanics as Siege, but maybe just a little more specific as far as we're going stealth route, we're going through the front door route, or other options.
And what's the new information on Wildlands exactly? What
it's just another trailer just showing some more gameplay about it. I don't think there's anything technically added to it.
So we could probably assume it's coming out in 2017.
I would be...
Or maybe the holiday season.
I would think it'd be hoping to come out this year, maybe.
Holiday season, maybe?
I could maybe see this year. It depends on E3. I could absolutely see them coming to E3 super strong, showing them a bunch of info and being like, by the way, it's out in 2 months. Just pulling a complete Bethesda Fallout, which I hope we see more of.
Did EA and BioWare say anything about Andromeda being at E3?
I haven't heard anything about it. EA is probably going to be there in a less than big way because they have their own convention being developed right now. EA Play convention. Everyone's kind of jumping off. As far as like location goes and taking up space, this is the biggest E3 has ever been. They're incorporating more buildings than they ever have before.
Really?
It's going to fit more people than it's ever been. But this is by far the most irrelevant E3 so far because so many people are just jumping the bandwagon. Nintendo's going to be there with one game, which will probably be Legend of Zelda. I mean, look at it. Nintendo's announcing a new console this year, and they're not doing it at E3. And they're not doing it at E3. That's a big sign. Nintendo's making their own convention. Bethesda's got their own thing going on. EA's got like 2 different ones they're making right now. E3 has become totally unnecessary and irrelevant. Super happy it still exists. I love getting excited about
this. There's a novelty to it,
but it'll never be like it was, where it was back in the day. You got out of high school and it was like, oh man, G4 for the next 3 days are showing this. This is the schedule. This is the press conference for Sony, and I take off from work and I make it a day out of it.
No,
I'll miss those moments.
I love the compilation videos of every E3 where they take the cringiest moments they could possibly take and just put it together. I love it. It's my favorite part of E3.
We'll never get that again, you know what I'm saying? We'll never have those moments.
No, you still get the cringe.
Yeah, but I want to like watch it live, like with your friends on the couch, like that vibe. Like I was telling the other day to someone, I miss going to stores for midnight releases. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Halo 3 was one of the funnest nights.
I learned that I like sleep a lot.
Lazy. Halo 3 was one of the funnest nights ever for me, like as far as like waiting in line with everyone. Just that hype of like, and now we'll never have that again. I thoroughly enjoyed that stuff. It's nostalgia, you know? The times are changing. These are back when DLC wasn't a thing. Like we're in a very big transitional period for gaming, and it's exciting / frustrating that we're the guinea pigs for all these new forms of microtransactions and stuff, and maybe in a couple of years half this stuff won't exist because it didn't work on us. Or maybe it'll be the next big thing.
Vote with your dollar. It's the best advice.
Just wrapping up some things before we go. Yeah, don't pre-order. Assassin's Creed movie trailer has been released. A new one. They're having a ticket pre-order bonus for the movie. Assassin's Creed has been infamous for pre-order bonuses, obviously, GameStop and stuff. But for pre-ordering the ticket to the movie, you get a pre-order bonus.
This is nothing new.
I don't know what other movies done this.
Pokemon.
Movie. The cards, the trading cards.
You got your cards.
Yes.
You got the freaking rare
that was
holographic ancient you. All right, it was in hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphic.
How do you say it?
Holographic?
No, hieroglyphics. It's the I can't say the word. No, it's symbols. Like ancient symbols.
You can do this. Tell me.
Hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics.
It's wrong too. You really don't know? I can't say it. They have the Mew card, so it's nothing new. They're bringing it
I
back.
think that it's
They're
funny
bringing
that they're
it
calling it
back.
a pre-order though. Like it's just like wow.
I guess. It's just
Come on, they did that before. Like,
Well,
don't
what's-
give me
tell
that
me, what's the
crap.
pre-order? What
I
is
don't
it?
know. Probably a T-shirt or some stuff. I don't
Okay.
know. And then finally, new Pokemon Go info was released. We're just going to rapid fire right now. Gym system is being implemented where you can claim a gym, and by successfully defending it from attackers, increases your prestige bonuses. High-level locations allow for more Pokemon to join the line of defense. So it sounds as though, because this is going to be using geocaching technology,
Which is?
certain locations tracking your phone, basically.
Okay, got it.
Geocaching was the thing where people would send you a latitude and
cache,
longitude.
okay.
And
Got
you
it.
would follow it, and they would have like boxes and stuff. It's fine. That this is important because the guys that are making this made Google Ingress, which was the first geocaching app, and that basically involved you. Basically, throughout town, there'd be locations depending on what team you're on. It's like, oh, that's a purple team's location. I'll go there. I'll hang out for 10 seconds. That becomes blue team. So it's this big competitive thing.
pretty cool.
So they're implementing this with a gym
getting
system.
creative with this.
So certain locations will have gyms. You will only be able to access those gyms by physically going to that location. There you'll battle people with your Pokemon and stuff. You'll have a line of defense. And basically, depending, you can get teammates together that you can take rival gyms faster.
Dude, if we had
so
this
you can
when we
get
were
together with
kids.
your bros and take down a gym at like some like Starbucks down the road.
Oh my goodness.
Pokeballs will be implemented. That's your main use for catching and collecting Pokemon, obviously.
Implemented?
Easier captures with better Pokeballs. This is probably where microtransactions will be implemented. And finally, evolution will play a factor as well. Pokemon can be evolved by continually catching the same type of Pokemon over an amount of time, or by purchasing Pokemon eggs via the in-game shop, also through microtransactions. I've said it before, I said it again. I'm just waiting for that moment where I'm walking down to the mall and my phone goes off and like, challenge your opponent. I'm just like, where is this son of a bitch? And it's some 6-year-old kid, and I just push his mom out of the way. I'm like, listen here, you little bastard. We're going right now. Like that's my dream.
You turn your hat?
Turn my hat backwards, and I just face off with a toddler.
There's
in the
totally
mall.
people I could think of right now that you wouldn't expect to play this, and then will play this.
That's what I mean.
can
This
think of
is
that right
this goes beyond games or anything. This is just like your pure core love for Pokemon comes out with this. And
Just put on goofy boots and just go for a ride.
I'm so excited for Pokemon Go. Like I love AR technology, like real live things being implemented with the virtual. And
No, I
this
do
is
too. I
just-
think it's cool.
This is gonna like push that technology really far because
It'd be fun in the city, actually.
it's literally like you go by the water
would be
and
fun
then like
in New York.
Pokemon that are water based will pop up.
It'd be
Like,
cool in New York City.
and that's what I mean. That's what I'm using it the most likely. Just
Yeah.
walking down the street and it's just like Pikachu pops up and I'd be that retard.
You're in
It's
Central
like, gotta
Park and you
catch
see
it.
these two guys.
Exactly. Grass type comes out. Like, I don't know. You're in a cave and an Onyx comes out. I don't know.
It's genius.
The opportunities are endless.
It's genius. So
It's
let's-
surprising.
let's see how it's executed.
I'm excited that the first Pokemon mobile game is this. You know, not just like Pokemon Red for iPhone.
Well, you didn't like your little Pikachu thing, the
For a
Tamagotchi
mobile
Pikachu?
phone. I Hey
You
You.
shake it,
No, I
the
had
watch?
Hey You Pikachu, where I talked into the
We
controller.
don't talk about Hey You Pikachu.
He was my best
We
friend.
don't talk about that
Thank you,
horrible birthday
Thank you
gift.
so much for watching. We'll be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about video games and stuff. I know I say it every week, but now we actually are going to be implemented it, streaming throughout the week much more often. Minecraft especially, because the last 3 times we played, something hysterical has happened, and John's been yelling at me for not recording it. So lots of more Minecraft being streamed. I'm probably going to stream Mass Effect as well. Screw it, why not? It's
should.
topical. And yeah, so we'll be back next Thursday. Keep a lookout. Make sure you're following, subscribing, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.